Welcome, everyone, to today's webinar. We are going to be talking about who Bond Exchange is as a company very briefly, and then we will dive into the tools that we make available to help make our agents a Surety Pro. So let's get started. We're actually going to do a couple of quick introductions. My name is Taylor Conley. I work in the business development side here at Bond Exchange. Part of what my job entails is agency enrollments. So if you are a verified agent, you have gotten a call or an email from me. And if not, I look forward to talking to you soon. And with us today, we also have Benton. Benton, if you can introduce your role here at Bond Exchange.
Thank you, Taylor. I'm also in business development and the agency outreach side. So I also am giving agents calls when they get set up, but also attending some of these conferences across the country. So I may have met some of you there and excited to show you a little bit more about the platform today.
And we did steal him from the underwriting team. So wealth of knowledge here that we will be diving into today. So very happy to have him, but let's dive into Bond Exchange. So as you can see, we have been around for quite a while. We are licensed in all 50 states, which means that our agents can write bonds in all 50 states. We are appointed with well over 20 carriers with varying degrees of appetite. So we do like to say that we write absolutely everything. But really what we want you to focus on when you're thinking about who Bond Exchange is, our goal here as a company is to provide the very best platform and tools and the very best level of service so that agents who aren't necessarily focused on surety can still quickly and efficiently get their bonds written and get back to business and hopefully do so profitably. So let's talk about how we do that. We are a wholesale only platform. So we do work exclusively with PNC agents. You have to have a PNC license to do bonds. We will pay a competitive rate of 20% for standard bonds, 10% for non-standard. I believe it's 15% for contract. Agents can add a broker fee on top of that, and Benton will kind of talk about that a little bit later, how to do that, how to keep track of all of that. So one of the other things we are highly focused on here at Bond Exchange would be our technology. We have gone ahead and created an extremely easy and intuitive online bond application process. I say it's intuitive because I am not an underwriter and I can definitely do it. So I believe all of you guys can manage it. We do have over 10,000 bonds in the system. You can search with a simple keyword search. So very quickly and efficiently get those bonds done. As much as I love our technology, I will say my favorite thing about this place are our people. As you can see, Benton is at a conference. He wasn't lying. We really send him all over the place. You can see a couple of our other teammates here as well. Really try to make ourselves available to all of our agents. So our amazing team of underwriters are available from 7 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. Eastern. You can either chat with them on our website, you can email us, you can call us. We have offices in Charlotte, North Carolina, Sacramento, and then we are also in Dallas, Texas. So no matter how you get a hold of us, you will be connected with an underwriter who can quickly get those questions answered and get your bonds written. So we're a group of people here. I say give us a call. All right. Benton's like, yeah, that's me. All right. So now that we have talked about who Bond Exchange is, we are going to dive into some of the tools that we make available. So first up, we are going to talk about Easy App. So this is what I was just talking about, that online bond application process. You can pre-qualify, quote, and issue bonds, and that will be including contract, SBA, and probate. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here, and I'm actually going to give the reins to Benton, and he is going to walk us through what that would look like in real time.
Thank you, Taylor. All right, just give me just a moment. Here we go. So this is the welcome dashboard. This is where you will show up as soon as you log into the platform. Any alerts from us will be listed here at the top. We're going to go ahead and dive right into a new quote. So today we're going to be quoting a North Carolina motor vehicle dealer bond, a very simple bond requirement. We write these with credit alone, so it'll just be an automatic credit check. And it's pretty straightforward, pretty seamless through this app. And here we go. Is the bond needed in North Carolina? Yes, we are doing a North Carolina motor vehicle dealer bond, but if it's needed in another state, you would just select no here and you'll have a drop-down menu for all the different states, including federal requirements if needed. I'm going to go ahead and select yes here, and we do know what the bond required is called. It's a motor vehicle dealer bond, so we're going to select yes. If you're not really sure, you can narrow down that search a bit by clicking this option here. So here we can just type a keyword. In this case, motor is a great keyword, and there it is, motor vehicle dealer bond. If you're not entirely sure what the bond is called, but you know who's requiring it, you can type the entity that's requiring it here as well. So in this case, the Division of Motor Vehicle Dealer, or of Motor Vehicles is here at the top. So there we go, a motor vehicle dealer bond, that's what we're looking for. And this is just confirming that. Every step of this process is meant to feel like a conversation with an underwriter, to be as seamless as possible every step of the way. If that's not correct, you'll just be able to return to that prior screen here. We're going to select yes here to continue. And at this stage, you're able to send the application to your customer. Now that you've selected the bond type, they can be sent an email with a link to jump right into this application, complete it themselves, sign for it, purchase it online, and get a copy of that right away. You'll be notified every step of the way, and you'll get a confirmation email containing all the policy documents. So we're going to go ahead and select no here, but if you select yes, you'll just enter their first, last name, an email, and then it will send the application link to them. So today we're going to be doing a quote for Joe's Auto Sales, LLC. And you definitely want to get that entity type that's often required on the bond form. It has to match what the Secretary of State's website shows, so we want to click LLC here. And at any stage, if you run into a question you don't know the answer to, you always have the freedom to still send it to your customer with this icon in the top right corner. You can just enter that same information as we discussed earlier, and they'll be able to pick up right where you left off and finish this application online. So how many years has the customer been in business? As I said earlier, the rate is calculated entirely on credit. However, years in business can have a reductive effect on the rate. So you definitely want to acquire this information from your customer. We're going to say that this customer has been in business for 3 years. And you'll just type your customer's phone number and email address. And then you'll want to provide the physical address of their dealership. So here we have a Google autofill feature. As soon as you start typing the address, you'll see that you can have these populated for you by just clicking on the drop-down menu for the relevant address. And then we'll go ahead and continue here. If there's a suite number, you'll have to add that manually after the fact. We'll go ahead and continue. Imagine there is not one. And then if you have a separate mailing address for the client, you can add that here at this step. We're going to select no to keep it simple. Or yeah, I mean yes, to keep it simple, my bad. And today we are quoting for Joseph Gils. He is not a real individual. Don't worry, we are not about to give you his real social security number. This is a phony Experian client that we use for the purpose of demonstrating our platform. Go ahead and continue. He has great credit though, so he should get a great rate as well. We're going to select yes, that it is the same business address, but typically you will have to enter their home address here for that soft credit check. That's required to be able to find an accurate record usually. In this case, as indicated, it was a phony client, so it should work for any address we enter here.
And if you have a question on that at all, if you get to the step and if you don't remember if this is important or not, we have that chat function, like I mentioned, at the bottom. You would be connected to somebody who can very quickly give you an answer on that. So we always have that backup as well.
That's right. You'll be connected with an underwriter as soon as you send a chat in there. So it's definitely a useful feature to have. And the underwriter will know where you are in the application process, so they can definitely help you along the way. All right. If there's another owner, you would add them here. You'll just require that same information, first, last name, home address, and social. This would be any individual who owns 10% or more of the company. In this case, we're going to pretend like Joe owns the business entirely. So we're going to select no here. And then you can choose any day 30 days prior to or after today's date for the bond to become effective. That's just a feature here for you. We're going to keep it today. That typically is what agents are doing. But if, for example, they had another bond with another carrier that expires on the 29th, they may want this bond to start on the 29th so that they don't have any overlap. We're going to select today just to keep it simple. Now the system is running credit and checking to see if Joseph qualifies for a good rate. There we go. He has been approved. And one thing I definitely want to highlight is we do offer a monthly subscription option. We are the only surety platform in the country that we're aware of who offers a monthly subscription option, allowing customers to pay as they go. So they don't have to commit to a full year. They can just pay monthly. And if they stop making payments, no harm done, no money owed either way. the bond will just be canceled and that's it. They're good to go. So customers love this option. They only have to pay $38 today and every month for the duration of the bond term. So go ahead and continue and test that out. As Taylor indicated, you can add a broker fee to any policy you issue on our platform. If you're going to do this, definitely have your renewals sent to or set to agent bill. That way, your customers aren't getting a mailed invoice that has a lower amount listed than what is on your bill later on. So you can add this freely. It can be any amount up to $999, I believe. We can manually add higher. But anyways, you'll get 20% commission. This will be included on top of the total payment made by the customer. It'll be listed as one payment, but when they get their invoice, they will see that there is a broker fee added. So we're going to select no here to keep it simple. And then at this stage, again, you can have it sent to your customer. So this is just to make it convenient. They can purchase it online, sign for it online, and get all their paperwork right away, right when they purchase the bond. We're going to select no just to demonstrate the rest of the process from the agent's perspective. And then you'll be given the opportunity to download the application. You'll have to get this signed by your customer before issuance. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that real quick. This is what it'll look like. It'll list the terms here. You can just email this to your customer. They can sign for the bond here, provide their payment information, and you'll be good to go. So we're going to imagine that we got this signed by our customer and upload it here.
We will check. Actually get them signed, please.
That is correct. We do review those. Anyways, continuing, you can select standard shipping, or we offer FedEx overnight anywhere in the country for a flat rate of $30. Customer will receive the bond the next day, the physical copy that is with the raised seal, which is often required by the obligee. So that would be the original copy would be received the next day. We're going to select standard to keep it simple. And then we're going to have it mailed to the customer. We're going to imagine the customer is paying for this bond. And we're going to go with a monthly option to try it out. And we have the customer's payment information, so we're going to do it on their behalf. Just know that you can issue any policy on agency bill, whether it be a new business or renewal. That's always an option for you. And we're going to pretend like we got the customer's credit card, but you can also use e-check payments if you're interested. You can add a bank account here as well. So the card number is not a real card, but it works on our system. So we'll just go with this. All right, now the system is creating that bond form, collecting the payment, getting everything situated, sending out those confirmation emails to you and the client.
And again, this card works for us in this example. Don't try to use it in our system to buy bonds. Well, we will notice.
There we go. We have issued this policy successfully. You can leave your feedback with us if you'd like. I'm not going to inflate our reviews. You can download a copy of the bond, the payment receipt, agent invoice, principal invoice, and you can jump back to the agent dashboard, which I'm going to go ahead and do now. So we're back to this main welcome screen. We're going to hop to our agency policy history to take a look at the policy we just issued. You can see it here, along with all other policies you've issued under your agency in the relevant, the status pertaining to it. So this was issued online, meaning, as Taylor said, we do look at that signed application. So this will change to issued and filed once we have manually reviewed it. But just know that this is an issued policy and it's ready to go. Once we mail it out, it will change to issued and filed. Any upcoming renewals you have will be listed here, pending quote. So that's something submitted that hasn't been quoted yet. You can add payment methods for your agency if you issue something on agency bill, and then make payments in the billing and payment tab. Any notifications from us will be here. And then once commissions are paid, commission statements will be included here in this last tab in CSV format. So you can freely download that to match it up with the commission payments you receive to see where everything is coming from. So now we're going to go back to this overview page for just a couple of items. You can edit any details about your agency here with this edit agency button and adjust any of these features listed here. But also I wanted to touch on, this is where Get Surety Pro is. That is how you will be able to install Surety Pro, which is a customizable widget that you can add to your website, allowing customers to quote their bonds directly on your website without even leaving the page. And it'll just look just like our platform does through that easy app. So now I'm going to hand the reins back to Taylor to give us some examples of this and show us how to get it set up.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm going to share my screen here. All right. So we want to dive into Surety Pro. Thank you so much for showing us all of that, Benton, and for showing us how to get Surety Pro, because this is where I start to get excited. These are our additional tools that we make available to agents. So as Benton said, Surety Pro is the ability to do the online bond application process that we just went through. You can put that online application directly on your website. We have a couple of different ways to do that. It can be embedded or it can open an additional link. That would be completely up to your preference, but we have made some updates on it recently so that you can customize it to match your website. So let's take a look at what that would look like. I'm going to hop in to our Surety Pro widget here. So like he said, you would find this button that says Get Surety Pro. Try to make it pretty easy. Okay, so we have the ability, I can go up here, to completely customize this bond quote button now, right? So we can change all of the text on this page. You can change the header. You can change what it says here. This button can look completely different. So we could quote your bonds, anything you want to say. So you would simply type that in here. Now you would be able to then go into the actual customization of the colors, the sizing, the border, everything here. So a couple of quick examples. It's an awful color. Could make the border thicker. We can change that color. So once you decide what this looks like, you would then hit copy code and simply paste that onto your website. Don't worry, we will be doing a webinar specifically on a Surety Pro install at the beginning of October. So check out that invite that will be in your email. That will go over this if you do need additional help on this. Also, feel free to reach out to Benton and I. But this is where you completely update that and then you'd copy the code, put it on your website. The other options that we offer for Surety Pro, if you don't want this button, it can actually be the application only. So it'll be the beginning of that app that Benton just walked us through. We can put that on your website. Or we also have the shareable link. This is going to be, and you can see it just copied it when I hit shareable link. That's going to copy a link that you can either put in your email signature, you can send that out to people, you can text that to people, or you can use that code to create a smaller customizable button on your website, and then it would open up the new link. So all of this sounds great in theory. Let's see what this actually looks like. I'm going to look at some examples on web pages here. So this would be an agency website. This is somebody who wanted to do that Get Quote Now button. So they have matched the color to match their website. They widened it a little bit to fit the page. And again, you'd simply type in your business name and then that quote would get started. This is embedded. It stays on your website. It does not direct people away. So that is one option. We also have the application only. This should all look very familiar to you now. So this would be on a surety bond landing page would be the recommendation. And then they could simply be in that application immediately, really keep your customers in the buying mode, as opposed to reaching out to you, requesting a quote, and then requesting a quote from a couple of different agents. This just gets them immediately into that process. If you wanted to use the shareable link though, you could create a custom button like this, very small. Once we hit that, we'll actually open up a different URL, and then that will be in the application process. So again, this should look very familiar. We would keep your logo on the page, and we make sure it would be branded to you. So that is Surety Pro in a nutshell. Let's talk about one last tool here. This is actually my favorite tool, called Book Builder. So Book Builder allows retail customers to connect with verified bond exchange agents and quote and purchase bonds instantly from our website. So an agent would receive notification that they have a new client and that they would be receiving commission. Kind of hard to beat. So why is this so important? I want to show you what this looks like on our website and why this is important. So we get about 20,000 unique visitors a month to our website. We put out a ton of content. Our blog is extremely active if you need any information about specific bond types. We do have a YouTube page where we'll post videos. And then of course we have these fabulous webinars. So because of that, Our SEO is extremely attractive. We get a ton of customers to our site. A lot of them are retail customers who are in need of a particular type of bond. So we wanted to use that marketing and give it back to our agents. So we created Book Builder, which is our find an agent tool. So if any retail customer comes to our site and they want to find a bond application and they want to find an agent who can do that, they'd simply search here for their area. I'm going to assume I'm in Miami because that would be nice right now. So let me show you what a good agent profile would look like. All right, so this is a completely filled out Book Builder profile. When Benton was showing you that agency overview and where you can edit your profile, this is why this is important. If you put in an agency bio, this is what will show up here. Same thing, if you put your company logo, you can see this is branded. We have all of that. And then once somebody finds an agent near them, they would simply hit get a quote. They'd start to be able to purchase that bond immediately. So the agent's not having to do any of the work. They're getting a new principal and they're getting commission. So whether you are advertising bonds on your page or you want to do it through our page, our goal is to very quickly and efficiently get those bonds written for you. So let's go to what you guys probably are most interested in, and that is a Q&A portion. So that was a lot of information that we just gave to you. We showed you how to apply for bonds. We showed you the available tools. So if you do have any questions, either for myself or Benton as the underwriter, we will check those out now.
All right. Well, it looks like we already have a couple of questions here from Joe. Will probate bonds have a monthly payment option as well? No, they will not. Any policy that needs release will not have a monthly subscription option. So that is a great question. Only cancelable bonds will be able to go under the monthly subscription option. And then another question from Felicia. Do you have to have a signed app via DocuSign, or can you have a signed app via DocuSign, or do you need a wet signature? When you are doing that PDF application, you definitely can use DocuSign. When they're signing on our platform, that's kind of a DocuSign equivalent. But yes, you are certainly welcome to use DocuSign for those PDFs that you send to your customer.
Fantastic. Okay, Joe asked a question here. Is there anything we need to do to make sure we have a book builder site? Yes, absolutely. So you would want to make sure when you're going into your agent profile that it says yes to being a public profile. If there, for whatever reason, you think you should be showing up on Book Builder and you are not, please feel free to reach out to Benton and myself and we can investigate and see if maybe it's not on when it should be on the back end. So but really, realistically, you just need to be a verified bond exchange agent and choose to allow us to make your site public, and then it would be live. Again, I highly recommend filling out that bio because otherwise it will just be essentially a blank profile with your agency name on it and contact information. So giving them that bio definitely makes them feel like they have a better idea of who you are and who they would be working with. And surety bonds are a great opportunity for cross-selling. So you definitely want to try to get as many surety bond clients as possible and get them in your book of business.
All right. Thank you, Taylor, for that. Patricia had a question. When clients call me, they have no idea the reason for the bond and the next step. So how does it work with them having the ability to quote their own bond? That is a great question. I would say the ones who are quoting their own bond on our website typically know what they need. They're kind of independently searching for their bond online, finding our website, really just wanting to knock it out and get it over with. And I would say our application's pretty intuitive, so it's pretty self-explanatory once they get to that stage. However, we have run into customers chatting us, taking advantage of that feature while they're going through that app. If they don't know what they need, they're typically calling, and asking questions. So we're always available to help them. But typically, the ones we're seeing a lot on the Agent Connection, Agent Finder setup is customers who are looking for a more simple bond requirement and want to knock it out themselves.
And I would say another thing that we can do is if you know, Patricia, that you have a particular client who maybe needs a type of bond and they aren't sure, what information they're going to need, one of the easiest things to do is to go into that Surety Pro button and go over to the shareable link because you will see at the top, you can choose the state and you should be able to search the bond type. And then that will just, you can then search that or send that link directly to the client. Perfect. Yes. So that you could search, probate, you can search guardianship, conservatorship, that type of thing, and then send that directly to the client. So they'll be in that actual bond application process. So then it'll ask them the appropriate questions.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's right. You can have it start off right on the probate app. So
yeah. So that should
yeah.
help. And then again, any questions that they have, you as an agent can always reach out to us, but your principals can definitely reach out to us as well, depending on whoever's in the application and has the questions. We are happy to help. I can handle this one. What is your website address? It doesn't take an underwriter to do that. It is www.bondexchange.com. Find us there, or also search our YouTube for Bond Exchange. Great content. You can find us there. And then again, all of our information is on the screen. Please feel free to give us a call, send us an email. Yeah, we are definitely happy to answer any questions that you have. Like I mentioned, we do have another webinar coming up. I can give you the date on that, and that will be strictly a Surety Pro install. That will be October 12th. So it should be at 11 a.m. as well, but I will send out calendar invites for anybody who wants to attend. Of course, if you have any questions before then, or you're really excited to get Surety Pro installed, we can definitely help you out now. But yeah, if we have no more questions, I just want to thank everybody for attending today. I know everybody has an extremely busy schedule, so we will give you some time back in your day. And if you had a question, you just didn't want to ask it here, again, please shoot us an email. You can reply to my invite, and I will get those answers for you. Everybody on the call will be receiving an email with the recording of this, so you can save it and look back on it for future reference on how to fill out those applications, how to install our tools. So thank you, Benton, for being on with us today and answering our questions. And I will see everybody on the next webinar. Thank you so much.